You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of a short story through to the line edits of a full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Well, hello, America. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson, coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com. Also want to give a new shout-out to our affiliate, Lanterns Radio. That's right. We're now on there every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Also still on AMFM247.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Also still on SHR Media every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and last I knew at 11 a.m. in the morning. And then, of course, we still have Red Nation Rising Radio, where we're now on every 4 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. And, of course, now CRNTalk.com, where the show can be heard every Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And, of course, that rounds out the live and streaming affiliates. We also do have plenty of podcasting sites, and those include iHeart, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Blueberry, and iTunes. I always forget iTunes. Station manager Ann yells at me all the time for forgetting to mention iTunes. So, hey, I got it in there today. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about today. One of the first things, of course, we're going to be talking about is, of course, the liberal meltdown, and Meltdown Palooza continues. And we have all of that and more coming up right now on America Off the Rails.
It's about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Listen, folks, I'm here to tell you our political system is broken. The two-party system is dead. They have become one and the same.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
And in a surprising and disturbing move today, the Libertarian vice presidential candidate just agreed that rifles are weapons of mass destruction, and people on the terror watch list should not be allowed to purchase guns. So in other words, the party of freedom is liberty for me, but not for thee. Go figure.
Compromise where you can. Where you can't, don't. Even if everyone is telling you that something wrong is something right. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree.
All right, folks, and this is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Like I said, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got some stuff that's been kind of happening all over the map. First of all, before we actually take our first break, I just want to take a moment and say thoughts and prayers are with the families of the 4 slain officers that have happened within the last 24 hours. This is... I mean, this is never a good time. There's never a good time for this type of thing, but for this time of year to think about the fact that there are going to be all these families that now have these recently lost members, it just really hurts. And I think what really hurts the most is we now have a president who's been abroad making his last victory lap, or what I like to call his apology tour. I think a lot of that hasn't gone exactly the way he wanted it to go, because simply put, it hasn't. He didn't get the result he wanted out of this election, but it still hasn't really stopped him from trying to go abroad and do his victory laps. And the simple fact of the matter is he hasn't even addressed the fact that we have had police officers that have been basically executed within the last 24 to 48 hours. We are now reaching Dallas number of proportions of officers that have been slain in, I believe, 3 different states, 4 officers total, and he hasn't said a word. Not one word. Not that I'm surprised by that. We actually have a few other things that he's been doing that I will actually be bringing up today during the show that those things don't really surprise me either. But I wanted to take just a moment to say I do want and hope that everyone takes a moment just to put those fallen officers' families in their prayers. This is Rick Robinson. We'll be right back here in just a couple minutes.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest...
My bad, wrong button. Let's try that again.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right
Things
back.
are going to get real interesting. You're listening to the Spark Radio Network.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots. Toys, toys, toys for tots. Some have too many, some haven't any. If those who have give those who haven't, oh, what a Christmas day. The Marine Reserve will help you fill your sleigh with lots and lots of toys for tots. So give a little toy today.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
All right, folks, we are back. This is America Off the Rails. All right, so we got off to a bit of a quick start. Of course, we gave a little bit of a moment of silence for the fallen officers. Now, at this point, we're going to go right into the craziness that is the end of the Obama administration. There have been some really crazy things going on. I have some audio we're going to be playing later in the show, but I want to talk about this first, and this is from a group called the Federalist Paper. They actually have put out a story that has been making the rounds on several different papers. This is Dateline November 19th. Obama shuts down aerial surveillance of southern border. President Obama has 2 months left in his presidency, and he's using it to shut down aerial surveillance over the U.S.-Mexican border. President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January, and President Obama wants to make sure Trump's deportation promises are as difficult as possible, or so it seems. Obama's Department of Homeland Security isn't doing their job. Rather than secure the southern border to the best of their abilities, they have shut down vital measures to ensure security. An obvious move to open the borders to undocumented people who wish to sneak into the U.S. rather than legally immigrate are free to do so without difficulty. If they can't be seen, they can't be caught. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security quietly shut down Operation Phalanx, an aerial surveillance program that intercepts drugs and illegal crossings along the Mexican border. Rep. Henry Cuellar, Democrat of Laredo, vows to challenge DHS's move, saying Congress provided full funding for 2017. Cuellar, a member of the House Appropriations Committee and the Homeland Security Subcommittee, is drafting a letter to DHS Secretary John Johnson protesting the shutdown. Now, look, folks, everybody keeps talking about how it is that the Democratic Party as a whole has lost so much of their hold on the American working class. And I'm here to tell you, this is one of the reasons right here. They don't think that everyday laws apply to them. Not only do they not think they apply to them, they don't think they should apply to people that are wanting to come into this country. I, as a conservative American, am here to tell you right now, I have no issues at all with immigration. Not as long as it's done legally. What I have a problem with is migration. Migration meaning folks that don't actually plan on coming in here to stay here and actually make their life better and make the lives of their families better and actually apply for citizenship and try to do the right thing. I'm talking about the people that come here for about 6 months out of the year. They work, they take up as much money as they can back home, then they go back home for about 6 more months, then they do it again. That doesn't even bring into play the people that are illegally trafficking drugs across the border all day long, all day, every day, from our southern border. Do you want to know why the Democrats fell on their faces this election cycle? That's the biggest part of it. It really is. Now, do you want to know the funny thing? You know, everybody talked about how when Donald Trump got elected that, you know, immigration was going to come to a halt. Nobody was going to want to come to this country anymore because it's full of racists. Guess what, folks? The numbers are already starting to show that in the couple of weeks that since he has been made president-elect, he hasn't even been sworn in yet, folks. Let this part of it sink in. Hasn't even been sworn in yet, and there's already been a drastic rise in the number of people that are actually applying for American citizenship. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. Could that have anything to do with the fact that maybe they're afraid that if they don't go ahead and apply, that at some point they're going to be asked to leave? Which, I'm sorry, doesn't that actually make perfect sense? If you're going to come into the country and do so illegally and break our laws, why shouldn't we have the right to ask you to leave? Now, I'm not saying that his idea of rounding up 11 to 12 million, billion, whatever the number is now, illegal immigrants is a good idea. But I am saying that the fact that they know that we're going to try to do something about it is already starting to make a difference, because we now have a rise in the number of people applying to come to the country legally. Now, I guarantee you some of those people that are applying are already here. But they know that if they don't do something, something is about to change for them, and they don't want to leave. Now, I also would like to point out that if you look at the numbers, there were a good number, actually substantially more than voted for Romney, legal immigrants who voted for Donald Trump. And I'm here to tell you that's because a lot of them are just as mad about this lax immigration policy as the rest of us, because they came here, they did it right, they did it legally, and there's no reward for them to do that, because all you've got to do now is sneak across the border and you get the same benefits anyway. So what was the point in them coming across, doing it legally, trying to make everybody's life better in their family? Instead, they could have just snuck across the border and been, as far as the Obama administration was concerned, just as well off. So let all of that sink in. Now, knowing that Trump is going to try to do something, at least in part, about illegal immigration, Barack Obama does what? He shuts down the aerial surveillance program. Now, let's not forget, the aerial surveillance program doesn't just help with illegal immigration. It also helps curtail drug trafficking across our southern border. Now, I have never been one of the people standing up screaming and yelling that Obama's a traitor and that he should be tried for treason and he should be impeached. Look, impeaching him now at this point would do absolutely no good. He's on the way out. No matter what he does now, whether he stays in Washington and tries to remain some form of a lobbyist, or whether he tries to stand up to the president's new policies, since a lot of them are going to fly in the face of what he considered not only his agenda, but his legacy. I don't know. But what I do know is, as a whole, the country is already starting to change. Some of it in good ways, some of it in bad ways. We'll actually be talking about some of this stuff later in the show, because we have some audio from a recent white supremacy group that got together and was actually kind of rallying over Trump's victory. And we're going to play that audio and then give you a bit of a snippet from President-elect Trump's reply to the fact that they were actually cheering about his victory. But for the moment, let's not forget that we still have until January 20th that this President Barack Obama, who has pretty much done everything that he can to change America fundamentally at its core, he still has 2 months worth of work to do. Now, before anybody starts panicking, and I don't want to give you the wrong idea, because this isn't going to be, oh my God, the sky's falling, because he's going to do nothing but executive orders, pardon, more executive orders, more pardons. Look, even if he does all of those things, there's something that a lot of folks don't know. And this was actually brought to my attention by Senator James Lankford, one of the senators here in Oklahoma. There is actually a sunset clause anytime there is a full change in power in the government. So since we've not only maintained control of the House and the Senate, but now we have control of the executive branch, the incoming administration has the ability to roll back a lot of these things that President Obama has been doing during his last term, and they have every intention of doing that, which actually makes me really happy as long as they actually do what they say they're going to do and start working on rolling some of these back. One of my biggest problems with President-elect Donald Trump is so far I haven't been sure where he stands on much of anything, because he talks a really big game, but so far he has had very little to say that makes any sense. Now, we're actually going to talk about that some more when we get back. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some of his appointments that he's thinking about making, what I think about them, what the rest of America thinks about them, all that and more when we come back right now on America Off the Rails, as soon as we take a quick break.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
right, folks, welcome back. All right, so as promised, we're going to start talking about some of President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet postings. One of them actually surprises me. We have some audio about that, and then I'll explain why it surprises me here in just a second.
Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. President-elect Trump met yesterday with former presidential candidate Mitt Romney, a possible candidate for the job of Secretary of State. The two appear to have moved past Romney's tough criticism during the campaign. Mr. Trump also met with former CENTCOM commander James Mattis, who is a candidate for the job of Secretary of Defense.
All I can say is he is the real deal. He is the real deal.
We're joined now by the head of the transition team and Vice President-elect Mike Pence. Mr. Vice President-elect, I want to start. Are there going to be any announcements today on staffing?
I think that's yet to be seen, John, and good to be with you this morning. We're here at Trump National after a brisk day yesterday, but I have to tell you, to be able to have the opportunity to help lead this transition effort, to be sitting shoulder to shoulder with our president-elect as he's talking to men and women of extraordinary backgrounds and capabilities about putting this administration together, building the agenda, being there when he's talking to leaders around the world has been deeply inspiring. And I think every American would be inspired by the leadership that our president-elect has shown from literally hours after this election was called.
And Mitt Romney as a possible Secretary of State, is that right?
That's absolutely right, John. And I know the president-elect was very grateful that Governor Mitt Romney came here to New Jersey yesterday. We spent the better part of an hour together with him, and then I know that the two of them actually had some private time together. I would tell you that it was not only a cordial meeting, but also it was a very substantive meeting, and I can say that Governor Romney is under active and serious consideration to serve as Secretary of State of the United States.
All right, so there you have it from Governor Mike Pence, who is now Vice President-elect Mike Pence, talking about the fact that apparently Romney is a pretty heavy frontrunner for Secretary of State. Now, I have to admit, that actually kind of surprises me because that flies in the face of everything that I've been told and everything that I kind of watched from Donald Trump in this election cycle, and that was a very vindictive, very angry person who went after everyone who stood against him with such vigor and gusto that it was actually crazy. It was like watching Don Corleone. And that's literally what it reminded me of. It started feeling like more like we were watching a mob boss wrest control from other mob bosses, and ultimately he was the last one standing. But the thing that surprises me about this is if that was who Donald Trump really is, then why is he setting all of that aside now? Because let's face it, Mitt Romney was a very staunch detractor of Donald Trump. Not only was he a very staunch detractor, he was one of the people that was actually credited with starting the Never Trump movement, which, by the way, wasn't true. But it still doesn't change the fact that he was the media face of Never Trump. He was the one that everybody was talking about, at some point he's going to run as an independent, he's going to do this, he's going to do everything he can to block Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, instead of flying that back in his face, is actually seriously considering him for an appointment to his cabinet. Now, again, that just kind of gives me pause because it seems to be completely different than anything that I have thought that I understood about Donald Trump. So it's giving me a bit of a pause. I don't know if it's giving anyone else pause, but it's giving me pause. Then we have the fact, and this wasn't part of the audio clip, but we have the fact that over the weekend, Vice President Pence went to go see a play. And the cast of Hamilton actually had some pretty harsh words for him, that they were afraid of what the Trump-Pence administration was going to be like, and they wanted to try to make sure that it was going to be safe for everyone. And then, of course, the crowd proceeded to boo him. But the interesting thing was the two separate responses, because Donald Trump became angry, took to Twitter, and started demanding an apology. And Mike Pence was like, "Hey, this is what freedom sounds like." And I have to admit, I agree with his statement. Do I think that if I was an audience member of that play that I would have booed the vice president-elect? No, most likely not. But I can honestly say that that is what freedom sounds like, is when we have the ability to dissent. That's one of the things that I've missed so much over the last 8 years, because we haven't had that ability. And now that we do again, there are a lot of people that are upset because when we tried to dissent the current president, we were called racist. But now that there's a bunch of white guys back in office, apparently that's okay again. We'll actually talk about that and a little bit more about this possible Secretary of Defense pick when we come back. We have got to take another break. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Things are going to get real interesting. You're listening to the Spark Radio Network.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At the Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support the Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
All right, folks, welcome back. All right, so as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about General Mattis. All right, so it's interesting because depending on who you talk to, he's either going to be the best Secretary of Defense ever or he's going to start World War III. I'm not sure where I fall into that. I just think that at this point, having somebody that actually reminds me a little bit of Patton in the time that we're in now probably can't be an all bad thing. I mean, literally, I think at this point he's probably going to be the best person we could have there, only because of the fact that we need somebody that's actually going to not be afraid to show our teeth to ISIS. So those are my thoughts on Mad Dog, as everybody likes to call him. Apparently that was his nickname when he was active duty, because he had an interesting interesting mantra. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it reminded me of kill them all and let God sort them out. Same general idea, and honestly, at this point, when it comes to ISIS, I think we need somebody that kind of thinks that way. Now, it may or may not be a good thing in the long run, but at least for the moment, it should hopefully get their attention and make people realize that we're done basically treating them with kid gloves, which I feel like we've been doing way too much of lately. Now, I want to move on to some other audio that we have, and actually, for once, I'm going to play something that's somewhat positive about Trump. I actually have some audio of his first speech that he put together as far as, the weekly televised statements or video streaming statements that the presidents have been doing lately. Now, the president-elect has actually done his first one. This runs for about 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
Today, I would like to provide the American people with an update on the White House transition and our policy plans for the first 100 days. Our transition team is working very smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Truly great and talented men and women, patriots indeed, are being brought in, and many will soon be a part of our government, helping us to make America great again. My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. These are just a few of the steps we will take to reform Washington and rebuild our middle class. I will provide more updates in the coming days as we work together to make America great again for everyone, and I mean everyone.
All right, so that was President-elect Trump's first attempt at one of the streaming speeches that Barack Obama's made pretty famous over the last 8 years. Now, I gotta say, there are things on here that I liked, things on here that I'm still kind of scratching my head. Because if you notice, he said that he's going to do a lot of things through executive action. I have issues with executive actions and executive orders. Even if I agree with the context of the executive actions and the executive orders, I'm not really a fan of those things. But at the same time, I can't really fault him for what he's talking about doing. I mean, we're talking about removing us from the TPP, which I think is a really good idea. If you'll remember, back when I was with K98 Talk and JD and Stacey were on with us full time, they actually had a group on that actually wound up coming on my show and several others to talk about lobbying against the TPP and how to help them because of the fact that it was basically a dockable agreement that was going to tacitly remove sovereignty from the United States and make us all subject to the same rules and regulations of the other members, whether we wanted to be or not. So I kind of like that idea. I kind of like putting that one on the back burner and kind of bringing it to a screeching halt. I'm still not a fan of doing it through executive order, but at least I know what it is that he says he's going to do, and it seems like a good idea now. I mean, but again, I'm not a fan of executive order, so I'm really torn on these. There are several other things that I like that he said he was going to do, but at the same time, again, he's talking about doing them through executive order. That's a problem. It's a big problem because these things need to happen through Congress, not a pin in a phone. Isn't that exactly what we've been fighting now for the last 8 years, was the pin in the phone? And now he's talking about within the first 100 days that he's in office, putting out all of these executive proclamations that are going to wind up doing all of these things. And I'm still sitting here going, but I thought we were trying to do away with the pen and the phone. But hey, what do I know? I mean, again, like I said, I'm trying to make it positive. Like I said, I liked a lot of what he said there. I liked the fact that apparently whether he was instrumental in it or not, I'm still not sure, but it looks like there's a Ford plant that was going to be moving to Mexico that is now not going to be moving to Mexico. He says he's going to be able to bring Apple manufacturing back to the country. Not sure I believe that. Also not sure anybody could afford it if he did. But we'll actually talk about that and more when we come back right here on America Off the Rails. This is Rick Robinson. Don't go away.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a four-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-757-2782. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-757-2782. That's 877-757-2782.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is America Off the Rails, and we've been kind of all over the map tonight. We've been talking about some of President-elect Trump's cabinet picks. We've been talking about his first video speech since the election, where he talks about making a lot of changes through executive actions, which, again, I'm a little bit opposed to. But we also have some other things that we really, really need to get to. And believe it or not, we're actually starting to run a little bit long into the show at this point. So I've got some audio I want to make sure that we play. And this one actually kind of surprised me. Well, not really. But remember how everybody always talks about Barack Obama's probably not going away? I don't think it's going to be anything as drastic as the whole martial law and keeps himself in power thing. But he had something a little interesting to say about his role after President Trump takes office.
As an American citizen who cares deeply about our country, if there are issues that have less to do with the specifics of some legislative proposal or battle, but go to core questions about our values and our ideals, and if I think that it's necessary or helpful for me to defend.
All right, so the audio, for some reason, they're cut off. It was supposed to run for about another 20 seconds, and from reading about it, what he said was he was going to do everything he could to defend his ideals of what America should stand for, that he actually tried to bring about when he was president, even after he's president, and that includes, if necessary, standing up to President Donald Trump. I'm not sure how President Mom Jeez is going to stand up to anybody, but hey, you know what? He's talking tough. But as usual, it's one of those things where he talks really tough to the American people and about the American people, but not really about anything else that's important. And the simple fact of the matter is, Mr. President, whether you like it or not, there has been a resounding renunciation of everything that you've tried to do for this country. The simple fact of the matter is, the last time that you guys actually swung the pendulum the other way, which I believe was 2010-ish. You know, it was 2006 when everything started swinging back towards Democrats, and then you got office in 2008. And at that point, with your presidency, you guys had control of the majority of the governors in the state, as well as the majority, a good portion of state houses, and control of both the executive and congressional branches of the government. And since that time, everything's been going the other way. You guys didn't even really have power for that long before the pendulum started going the other way, only because of the fact that I think the American people started realizing some of the things that you were talking about and how much you actually meant the phrase that you were going to fundamentally transform America, and the rest of America has been sitting back watching going, what in the world did we get ourselves into? So that is one of the reasons why your side lost. You went too far to the left too quickly. Too far to the left in general, but definitely way too quickly. Because you may have the 18 to 25 votes sewn up with this whole socialism, free college, everything needs to be free so everybody can survive type mentality, but there's still way too many of us that understand that that's not going to work. Now, in the next 8 years, who knows? By then, a lot of us may be gone, so you guys may be able to swing things back the other way and manage to wrest full control. But what I'm hoping happens, now that we actually will have a president and a Congress that I hope understands how capitalism should work and how we can make this country function again and actually have a thriving economy again, I'm hoping this could be the nail in a lot of those socialist policies' coffins, but I'm not holding my breath. Now, just so we can make sure we cover everything else, when we come back here in just a couple of minutes, we actually have some audio from an alt-right get-together where they were actually praising President-elect Donald Trump. And, this is the thing that I've been trying to get my point across the entire election cycle, is there are issues still everywhere, and we need to remain vigilant. Look, I am in wait-and-see mode with Donald Trump, but that's not because I think he's going to be the best thing ever. I've gone staunchly from never Trump to stuck with Trump because he's going to be president whether I want him to be president or not. And it's my duty as an American to try to support my president until he proves to me that I can't. So far, he hasn't given me anything that I need to be overly concerned about right now. Now, there are some things that are happening that I'm not that comfortable with, and we've actually outlined some of those today. But it still doesn't mean that until he's sworn in and until I see what he's actually going to do, that I should be going out of my way to attack him or to say that I'm not going to support him. And that goes back to the fun that we've been having all week here on the station and everywhere else that this show airs when we've been talking about the liberal meltdown, which is still going on, by the way. And you hear really nothing from Obama since he actually tried to be gracious and said that he was going to work with Trump. But then you just heard this audio saying, well, if he tries to go against what I think he should be doing, then I'm not really going to work with him anymore. Which, who can fault him for that, honestly? Because it's the same thing that a lot of us that are trying to support him now are saying. Look, we're going to support him unless he goes too far to the left, and then we're not going to be supporting him anymore. And it really is pretty much that simple. All right, so when we come back, we do have some audio from a recent alt-right meeting, and we're actually going to be talking about that on the way out the door.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Hardin to see and purchase his books.
All right, folks. Well, believe it or not, we are already almost out of time. So as promised, before we get out of here, I do want to play some audio and make comments about a recent thing that actually kind of surprised me. We have about 2 minutes of audio here. These are some excerpts of a recent alt-right meeting where they were praising the election of Donald Trump.
Hail our people! Hail victory! No one will honor us for losing gracefully. No one mourns the great crimes committed against us. For us, it is conquer or die. The mainstream media, or perhaps we should refer to them in the original German, Lügenpresse. It's not just that they are leftist and cucks. It's not just that many are genuinely stupid. Indeed, one wonders if these people are people at all. Or instead, soulless Gollum, animated by some dark power to repeat whatever talking point John Oliver stated the night before. To be white is to be a striver, a crusader, an explorer, and a conqueror. We build, we produce, we go upward. And we recognize the central lie of American race relations. We don't exploit other groups. We don't gain anything from their presence. They need us and not the other way around. Within the very blood in our veins as children of the sun lies the potential for greatness. That is the great struggle we are called to. We are not meant to live in shame and weakness and disgrace. We were not meant to beg for moral validation from some of the most despicable creatures to ever populate the planet. We were meant to overcome all of it, because that is natural and normal for us.
All right, so there you have some excerpts of a recent meeting that actually went kind of alt-right/Nazi-ish. And the only thing that I'm going to say about that, because up until now we've been waiting for this to happen, it's finally started happening. I'm a little disappointed that it happened after the election, but President-elect Trump has continued to denounce racism of any kind and says he was elected because he will be a leader for every American. To think otherwise is a complete misrepresentation of the movement that United States of Americans are United Americans from all backgrounds have brought about. And that's a statement from Brian Lanza, the Trump-Pence transition team. And this is, it's what we've been waiting for. I'm disappointed that it didn't happen during the election, but I am at least glad to hear him finally come out, even if it was through a surrogate, and say, look, these people don't represent me. They don't represent what I want for the American people, and they don't represent what I want to do as president. So I do have to give him, again, props. I liked a lot of what he said during his 100-day video that he did earlier this week. I like the fact that as soon as all this news came out about this alt-right group that were kind of thumping their own chest, he came out and said, that's not what I want for America with me as president, and I've told you guys that. So, I mean, look, I'm still in wait-and-see mode. I have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's my president. What annoys me now is we see all of these people, including him, that are starting to denounce the alt-right. Where were they during the election cycle, both primary and general? Where were they? They weren't anywhere. They were trying to make sure that they didn't disenfranchise a potential segment of voters. But now that they got what they wanted from them, oh, we don't need you guys anymore, and you guys are a bunch of racists. You should have thrown them out in the beginning. If you would have done that, just that, then you might have had an even bigger voter margin than you thought possible, because a lot of us that didn't vote for you specifically because of the fact that you wouldn't denounce the alt-right, that you wouldn't say enough is enough, you people don't represent me or what I want for this country, but instead you just kept saying, well, I don't know what you guys are talking about, the alt-right isn't a big deal. Apparently it's a big enough deal now that your transition team is actually recognizing that they don't represent you, so why weren't they a big enough deal before? But look, President-elect Trump, I'm done busting your chops. For now. I really am. Look, you are going to be president. You're my president. Even if I didn't vote for you, that still doesn't change the fact that you are my president. So, with that being said, all I ask is that we continue to pray for the safety of not only the Trump transition team, the president-elect, his family, but also these cops that continue to find themselves in harm's way every single day, and more of them seem to be coming under attack. On that note, folks, I am out. This is Rick Robinson. I'll be back with you live tomorrow night with a double shot. First, Jen and Rick, and then America Off the Rails right here on KLRNradio.com. Also want to give a quick shout out again to Red Nation Rising Radio, AMFM247.com, Lanterns Radio, and CRNTalk.com, and all of the other places the show can be heard around the country and around the world. Take care, have a great night, and God bless.